Royal Challengers Bangalore have issued a serious statement to the rest of the tournament that things are getting together for Virat Kohli's side. They've registered a convincing, a thumping win against KKR by 82 runs. It's the second highest victory in terms of runs this season after RCB themselves were at the wrong end of a result against Punjab. So this would help their net run rate at a crucial stage as we have achieved base camp now in IPL 2020. It's the halfway mark. Everyone's played 7 and RCB seem to be on the way up for the second half of the tournament. This is Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout powered by Dell. Ian Bishop is here. Deeptas Gupta is here. And the conversation usually around RCB is AB de Villiers taking the gloves, keeping wicket. And at 36 years, his back is okay. I wonder what the 42-year-old wicketkeeper batsman in his defense, who missed our halftime show, and I'm sure was expecting me to pull him up for it at full time. Deep, I hope you're okay.
Right. I could trust you to bring that up. Thank you so much, Ronak. But yeah, I'm fine.
I compared you to AB de Villiers. You have the easiest out right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's talk about his batting innings now.
Dinesh Karthik says he was the difference. Deep, fair enough.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Those runs were, it was a near perfect game for RCB. Whether it's batting or bowling, you can't really fault them for anything today. Fielding, catching, just near perfect a game for them.
Vish, now we can look back at that innings and just look at how it was a league above all the rest. The likes of even Virat Kohli struggled on this surface, which seems a bit tricky. And how good does that AB de Villiers look now at the end of 40 overs?
Yeah, look, AB played above the conditions, really. The other 3 batsmen in that innings, nobody got a strike rate above 139. AB went along at 212. And that tells you something. So just towards the discussion that we had, he's just an exceptional player. And I got a question from a colleague of mine at the end of that innings asking, well, why didn't they bowl more in the foot of AB de Villiers during that last couple of overs? Well, the thing is, if you predict consistently where you're going to bowl to AB de Villiers, he's exceptionally good at reading the field, and he will find a scoop. He will find a reverse scoop or something to play. So you've got to be shifting the length and the line around at him. Sometimes a 4 is a win, but tonight, the guy was just on the money, and with great players, you just have to take what you're given sometimes.
Right. The other significant question, we've had so much to say about AB de Villiers on our mid-inning show. You could catch that. You too, Deep. You can catch that chat. But no, I won't do any more of that now. The serious question I do want to ask is this now the new Sharjah? Is Sharjah not going to be Sharjah anymore, Deep? Have we seen a change in conditions and surfaces that will remain for the second half of the tournament?
Yeah, I guess we were predicting this, isn't it? With the second half coming in, we were always thinking the pitches will get tired, the spinners will come into the picture more, and this is what it is. But even having said that, I know 194 was above par, but it was still a 175 pitch, which is not a bad surface to bat on any which way. But yeah, I thought, this is how it's going to be. It's going to get slower. It's going to get more tired, all these surfaces here, and spinners will have a bigger role to play.
The teams therefore need to take note here, Bish. KKR decided to replace their lead spinner, Sunil Narine, with a specialist batsman, not another bowler, not another spin bowling all-rounder. They replaced with a batsman. Did they get that wrong?
Yeah, perhaps. Well, not so much on the Narine front, because, RK, we have to be very careful. We don't know what the conversation was with Sunil Narine, where Sunil Narine is mentally given this warning from the umpires and what's going out in the press. But certainly we talked about RCB coming in with an extra bowler, didn't we? And what happened with Rajasthan early in the tournament at Sharjah, you come in with an extra bowler rather than the extra batter. So KKR went the opposite direction, and maybe we saw the impact of that in that 190 something, as Deep said, was above par. So there are still many questions for KKR to be answered with their batting order, their mix of bowling, and Sunil Narine is just another pothole in their road towards trying to qualify for the final, the playoffs.
All right, before we get to our 5-point review on the show itself, the Rcb Takeaway now, this looks like a really good team, and it looks like since AB de Villiers took the gloves, the balance of this team has just changed. And it seems to be working just fine as of now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, that's one of the reasons. I completely agree. But we also have to understand they've got a better bowling unit as well. Better unit as compared to the last couple of years. They're playing on a different, venue as well. Chinnaswamy is, it's never been easy for the bowlers bowling there. There are quite a few factors put together, and ABD Villiers taking the gloves obviously is one of the major factors there, undoubtedly.
All right, let's get into our 5-point review now, one by one, and analyze this game from the start. And we will start with Virat Kohli's decision to actually win the toss and bat first, assessing conditions that the pitch would get slower deep, and bringing in an extra bowler for a batsman. Significant?
Significant, yes. I mean, batting first, and especially for Virat, who loves chasing down totals. He himself is a brilliant, batsman in terms of chasing down totals. Batting first, assessing the conditions, and also picking that playing 11, as Bish just mentioned about, going in with an extra bowler on a batting friendly surface makes a lot of sense, but not too many people actually are going that route. So just trusting your batting unit to fire, and then giving a little bit of extra elbow room for your bowling unit.
They got their tactics right, Bish, today, didn't they?
Yeah, the numbers suggest of all the games at Sharjah, I think one team, and I think I'm right in saying only one team has chased and won. The rest of it has been through batting first. So yes, the tactics were right with the bowler, the extra bowler in there as well, and the excellence of ABD Villiers. I still think though, I want to caution though, that I hear what Deep is saying about the perfect game. I still want to see more production from Aaron Finch at a better tempo, and to see Padikkal sustain his excellence throughout what is a long and arduous season.
All right. Our next point is KKR's choice of team selection, how significant that was in their defeat. Bish replacing Sunil Narine with Tom Banton. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because Sunil Narine, bowling at his best on that surface, may have asked different questions of that lineup. Even though I think in his last game there, he wasn't great, but you have to hope that if he was there bowling well, that he would have presented a different challenge. Tom Banton looked rusty. His last few internationals weren't great. But it's a decision that was interesting.
Deep?
Listen, obviously Sunil Narine, had he been there, would have been a different ball game. Could have been a different ball game, because if you look at the spinners who were successful, look at Varun Chakravarti, what he did, or Washington Sundar. I mean, they're very similar in their approach and their, the way they bowl, in terms of hitting the stumps more often than not, the lengths that they bowl. So yeah, Sunil Narine is very, very much that kind of a bowler who would hit the stumps more often than not, bowl that back of length. So yeah, he would have been a different question for the RCB batsman to answer.
And the start that they got, the RCB, Deep, with Finch and Padikkal on what has now proven to be a slightly challenging surface to bat on.
Good one. Definitely, yes. And obviously, was it mid-game when Finch said he should have got out early for ABD to come out earlier, a little earlier? Listen, I think you've got to understand and pace the innings. Like I said, 194 was above par, but they were on course with that kind of a stand and with that kind of a batting order and batting lineup. All they need is a decent start, and then you have ABD, Virat, and Shivam Dubey, Chris Morris. I think Chris Morris made a big difference as well in that lineup as well. Yeah. I think you need that platform, which I think more often than not Padikkal and Finch has provided them with.
Bish?
Yeah, just for the sake, well, not just for the sake of it, it's what I feel strongly about still, that because remember, I chose RCB as one of my teams to get to the Final Four. I'm not saying they're there yet, but they've played above my expectation here tonight. And I think it's because of that ABD innings and the fact that Sundar, Washington, as well as what that Deep said about Chris Morris coming in, the greater use of Washington Sundar with the ball, I think is having a positive effect on this RCB team, as belated as it was and has been for them.
Yep, that's another point, Deep, on how the spinners just continue to have a bigger impact with each game, both Washington Sundar and Chahal.
Yeah, and it's very interesting if you look at, I was just looking at the pitch map and the beehive, and all the spinners, they were hitting the stumps. And when you're hitting the stumps as a batsman, you're thinking twice before taking chances outside the off stump or whatever it is. If the ball's not hitting the stumps, as a batsman, you can take a few more risks. But if you look at these bowlers, including Varun Chakravarti as well, I thought he was brilliant as well. Both these, all the spinners actually were hitting the stumps more often, and that brings a different, as I mentioned, a different question for the batsmen.
And finally, AB de Villiers and this surface mission. You said it right, that he played above the conditions, didn't he?
Mate, I mean, it's remarkable. It seriously is remarkable, because when he's playing like that, the other added benefit is that bowlers suddenly tighten up. We were bowling well to Virat. We were bowling well to Padikkal. We were kind of bowling reasonably well to Finch, who only struck at 127. And then suddenly this guy starts tailing it everywhere. We tighten up. We bowl deliveries that we shouldn't be bowling. That is the other aspect, apart from his bare skill, that AB de Villiers brings to a cricket field.
Deep?
When ABD is in that kind of form and that kind of mood, it's just not fair on the bowlers, to be honest. But the important part is RCB has to realize this was, like I said, a very, very good day at office. And KKR too has to realize it wasn't a good day at office and just get over this. RCB can't fall back on this. That's a great confidence booster for them. And for KKR, they need to just get over this. ABD was phenomenal.
All right, that is a wrap of what was an outstanding day for the Royal Challengers Bangalore. A not so great day for all things Kolkata, including the Knight Riders and Deep Dasgupta. So we hope to fix that. Tomorrow is back with us, with Ian Bishop. Bish, make sure you give him a nice little knock just before the toss. On the door is what I mean. Deep, take care. You look in good shape, my friend. We don't want to miss you tomorrow. We've got the Sunrisers and the Super Kings. That might put one or two of us to sleep. And to Deep Dasgupta for their time and their thoughts on World Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.